The iPhone 17e sounds like the affordable device many have been asking Apple to build. It features the A19 chip MagSafe, 256 gigs of storage, and USB-C at a lower price. On paper, it looks like Apple is finally prioritizing value. But the real question isn't about the specs. It's whether Apple fixed the problems that actually matter or just the ones that look good in a presentation. Those are two very different things. This phone only works if the compromises disappear once you actually live with it. The true test isn't the unboxing or the bullet points. It's how the phone feels 2 or 3 years from now. Some of these upgrades matter more than people think, while others are mostly just headlines. If you're deciding between the 17e and the standard 17, it comes down to one choice. Do you want clean value, or do you want to avoid small compromises? Let's start with the A19 chip. It's the easiest feature to market, and I'm very confident it's a high-impact move. But the benefit isn't just about raw power. The real value is the longer runway. A newer chip means better app support and more headroom as software gets heavier over time. I'm almost certain this prevents a phone from feeling slow as it ages. If you mostly text, browse, and keep your phone for years, that longevity matters more than any benchmark. It's a quiet upgrade, but it's easily one of the most important ones here. The second major win is starting the storage at 256 gigabytes. This sounds boring until you remember the frustration of running out of space for photos and videos. For a budget buyer, storage pressure lasts much longer than launch week. By increasing the base capacity, Apple has made the phone feel less cramped and harder to outgrow. I'm very confident this is a high-impact change for daily life. I would actually rank that storage bump higher than some of the flashier talking points. Then there's MagSafe and Qi 2. This might seem like a minor convenience, but it allows the phone to work with the accessories people actually use, from car mounts to battery packs. It removes the tiny daily reminders that you bought a cheaper model. By fitting naturally into the existing ecosystem, the 17e feels less like a compromise. Next is USB-C. It's useful and overdue, though I'm only moderately confident in its impact. It's more about cleaning up cable chaos than making the phone feel premium. It simply removes an old limitation. Durability falls into that same category. It's great for people who keep their phones a long time or hand them down, but it's a background benefit rather than a primary reason to buy. If I were re-ranking these features by how much they change your experience, I'd put the storage, the chip's longevity, and MagSafe at the top. Those three do the most to improve daily life. That brings us to the part where most competing phones are judged too narrowly. Most comparisons focus on raw specs, refresh rates, megapixels, or battery numbers. While those matter, people often ignore the cost of friction. A phone can win on paper, but still feel frustrating to use. If the 17e offers enough performance, storage, and accessory support to stop feeling like the compromised iPhone, Apple has done something smart. They've made the cheaper model easier to keep. Competitors often underestimate that. A phone you can live with comfortably is usually better than one that only impresses you for a week. But we still have to judge the 17e carefully. It is clearly a cut-down device in ways that will matter some. This isn't for buyers who notice every premium detail. If you're sensitive to display smoothness, camera flexibility, or how expensive a finish feels, this is where the 17e loses the argument. The risk with Apple's entry models is always the same. They can look great on day one, but the missing features start to grate on you 3 or 6 months later. You see a standard iPhone 17 and realize the difference isn't speed, it's the feel. That's why this isn't a total slam dunk. Before the launch, the story seemed too simple. Now, the value case looks more credible, but the main condition remains. Those missing premium features have to fade into the background. If they do, this is one of the best budget buys Apple has offered in years. If they don't, it's a phone you'll defend logically, but eventually replace emotionally. Here is who this phone actually changes things for. If you're coming from an older, non-pro iPhone and have a strict budget, the 17e makes a lot of sense. You get a modern chip, storage that doesn't feel insulting, and the Apple basics. You aren't overspending just to polish off a few rough edges. It's not a flashy choice, but it's a practical one. However, If you're the type of buyer who notices polish first, you should probably stretch your budget for the 17. The regular model isn't just about having more. It's about not constantly seeing what's missing. A phone can be a great value and still be the wrong choice if you notice the compromises every day. So, here's the verdict. Buy the iPhone 17e if you have a hard budget cap and you're upgrading from an older base model. I'm very confident the impact is high enough to justify the move. Wait if you can realistically afford the 17. You should also wait if camera quality and a premium display are your top priorities. That's where the 17e will remind you why it costs less. The final call depends on one thing: real-world testing. If the battery and camera prove that the cuts disappear in daily use, the 17e becomes an even stronger recommendation. But if reviews show that people miss the premium features more than they enjoy the upgrades, the safer bet remains a standard 17. The real test isn't whether this sounds better than the last version. It's whether, after a month of use, it stops feeling like the iPhone with an asterisk.